Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of RageQuitTV. Gonna be casting a game between BeWater and Liquid TLO. It is a ZVT on Shakuras Plateau. And just so you guys know, XSplit did update. It changed a few settings. I tried to change everything back, so if the game quality isn't what it used to be, just let me know and I will fix it in my next cast, hopefully. Sometimes software updates and it can just be a small hassle, but XSplit has many new features which I will be taking advantage of in future casts. But enough of that, let's get into this game. It is a TVZ on Shakuras Plateau. Generally, the Zergs like to take a late gas on this map, which means Terrans getting 4 Hellions can really abuse a Zerg early game. I see a lot of Terran players that get 4 to 6 Hellions, perk down here, just stop the Zerg from spreading any creep. And in the meantime, they just take a double expand because Zerg can't really put on too much pressure just because they like going for that late scout. We'll see if BeWater ends up sending his SCV out to scout to see if TLO ends up taking his gas. Additionally, the Overlord for TLO will be coming in to scout BeWater, and this is good. The Overlord can see the gas and also get an SCV count. So in this situation, there's no way that Hellions or a 2-Rax play should take TLO by surprise. Even if he doesn't end up drone scouting, he should be able to smell out a 2-Rax play before it even hits him by just counting the workers and finding where all the SCVs are. We do see BeWater about to be throwing down his barracks right up at the front. Of course, the supply depot was placed back here just because it saves a little bit of mining time for those SCVs, a little bit more economic to place it right here. So, nothing really to say there. We'll see exactly what he ends up doing. We'll most likely be placing his factory right up here, and his barracks will be getting a react on it. I would like to see the barracks right here and the factory instead right here, because the barracks, when it gets the reactor, I believe that would just completely wall it off. So a little bit of a misplace of the barracks right here, but that is nothing too big. We do see TLO now going to be going for his 15 pool. I believe it was a 15 hatch, 15 pool, as we do see that is already up. Now the big thing we want to watch is if TLO ends up getting his gas soon or not. And if the Terran player ended up scouting early and delaying this one hatch, he could really screw with TLO, because you can see the drones are already fully saturated. So every drone that goes on this mineral line is about half as effective. So if he delayed this hatch by about 30 seconds, he is doing a little bit of economic damage back here if TLO doesn't get the gas. I know pros don't deny the hatches that much, but in your games, if your hatch gets denied, you may want to just throw up the gas right away, because you will have oversaturation at the main. We do see him right now with pretty much one idle drone. SCV is going to be coming in here, going to be getting a scout off on TLO, going to be seeing there is no gas taken, so now BeWater just has to get a few Hellions out, then he can contain TLO and then be very safe to expand as long as he can micro those Hellions. If you get surrounded early game with those Hellions, that can just shut you down so hard, force you to total the rest of the game, and allow the Zerg to take a double expand. We do see TLO with this one Overlord just being so careful, sees the Marine right there, does not want to run into his base. The reactor is on this factory now. The barracks is going to be building a tech lab back here, and this is another barracks coming up, so looks like he will be getting maybe combat shields or stim. I think it would be a mistake to get stim so early, and combat shields would be much beneficial, because in this position I think the Terran should just play a little bit safe, get a third base up. We don't see BeWater showing any signs of that just yet by throwing down this barracks. Decided not to get a command center, so he may just end up getting stim, getting concussive shells. There we go, the stim is on the way, and this is because he is getting the second barracks. If he wasn't getting the second barracks, then he'd probably get this combat shields and also an expand. Hopefully that makes sense. We do have 2 queens here just gunning the ramp for TLO. These 2 Hellions shouldn't really be doing any pressure, but he really wants to get any scouting information on. 1 Hellion goes down. This means that BeWater has to build 2 more Hellions to get back up to that 3 count. Or actually, should build 3 more Hellions to get up to 4, because you really need 4 Hellions if you want to be able to take out an unlimited number of Zerglings. You can go 6 Hellions to be extra safe, and that's if you have a little bit slower reaction. But 4 Hellions is enough to micro and kill an unlimited amount of Zerglings. This one Overlord is coming in, only sees 1 Marine right here, and this one barracks is flying all the way over, does not want to get this scouted, so BeWater does let his Marauders be seen, so TLO now knows it is going to be Marine Marauder. More Hellions on the way. Actually, not Marine Marauder, it's going to be Marauder Hellion, I should say. The one Marine just going to kill off this Overlord, but the Overlord has seen all he needs to. If a Terran player is getting Marauders out, you know he is going to be aggressive. So TLO getting some extra spine callers, loses that one Overlord. And I'm kind of surprised he doesn't get another queen out just at his standard 4 queens, always does 4 queens. And since those Hellions did go down, or that one Hellion went down a little bit earlier, we do see TLO able to spread this creep. 2 more Hellions about to join. We do have a command center. And looks like the factory is going to be building another reactor, assuming that he's going to be switching into a lot of Marines, because whenever a Zerg player sees Marauders, they generally go up to Mutalisk, because if they get the Mutas out, then they are free to defend and can even do a lot of harassment. So BeWater right now, realizing that his Marauder thing did get scouted, so going to be switching off into a lot of Marines. Does have a few. And he can play Marine Marauder, it's just a lot harder to micro. I see Polt do it all the time. So Marauders can be used in TVZ, it's just really, really uncommon for them to be used at all. We do have TLO sitting up at 47 drones, while the Terran player is at 32, now up to 50 drones. Scan going down so he can take out these tumors. Of course, if he had never sacrificed any Hellions, then he wouldn't have to do this. And 2 creep tumors do go down, but neither of them was the one that could expand. The one that can expand is over there, so TLO not losing all that much. This one queen could be going down. Spinecrawler is going to be moving. These Hellions trying to take out the queen. The Spinecrawler now going to be burrowing, and the queen is going to live just fine. Another queen even coming down, and TLO is going to keep on spreading that creep. And TLO is one of those players that is very on top of his creep spreading. He believes if any tumor is idle for like 5 seconds, then it's just a mistake and you're bad at the game. Not just horribly bad, but just there is room for improvement, so he thinks that you should always be actively spreading this creep. There's no excuse not to, other than you are just not fast enough. So going back at what the Terran player is doing, has a handful of Marauders up and is going to be getting a lot of Marines, getting a few more Marauders, but mainly Marines, so it looks like he's just getting a wall of Marauders so he can tank anything. And oh no, TLO does surround these Hellions, and now TLO is free to take a 4th base even if he wants to. The Terran player cannot put on any aggression whatsoever. We do see BeWater lining up Marauders just because he knows their Zerglings are most likely going to be coming, and they do act as a great wall. However, their DPS is so low against those Lings. More Marines are going to be coming down. SCVs forced to go off the line to keep this wall up, and TLO is just going to be backing off, but we do see him taking another base once he took out those Hellions, knowing he has map control, knowing his opponent is playing bio. He's in a very good situation, but TLO gonna be a little bit in trouble when the drops do come out. He is just staying with his Lings, getting a lot of upgrades on the Lings. Is going for a 1-1 right now. Actually, 1-2, I believe. He's favoring that armor upgrade. Yes, he's at 1-1. Upgrading to 1-2. Only has 1 Evo chamber, and he is going up to a hive very fast. And if he ends up getting these gases right now, that would be so smart, so that gases are ready when this hatch does finish. Since he's going up to hive, most likely it means, looking at this, I don't see a Spire. Let's double check the lava. No Spire, so maybe he's going to be going for Ultralisks. And either if you go Greater Spire or Ultras, you are gas starved, and you need to go up on 6, 7, and between 6 and 8 gas you need for a hive tech. We do have BeWater going to be moving out with the drops just as the Greater Spire does finish. Going to be attacking, going to hit this one base, and he is going on a path that is not going to be spotted by any Overlords. You can see TLO has some great creep spread, even spreading with the Overlord down here, delaying the 3rd base if it wants to come up, as he is getting. Does TLO know about that? No, he doesn't. Drop is going to do some damage, and I don't like this at all. BeWater with his floating factory, that is a huge mistake, and now TLO sends a few Lings out, taking out these rocks, being proactive, even scouts the medevac, so he is going to be ready for this one drop. But by seeing this, if TLO sees the factory there, he's going to know there are going to be no tanks out, and it's just pure bio play. So it is a little bit of a mistake just to tell your opponent, hey guy, you never have to worry about me having tanks because my factory, it's going to be doing nothing, just going to give me some scouting. It's good to see your opponent coming at you, but could be done other ways. This one hatch does not get taken out. Going to the upgrades, we do see BeWater. He is at 1-0. Folk getting 2-1 right now. TLO getting that adrenal glands, and 2-2 just about done. So he does have double Evo chambers. Same time, a drop going down in the main base. Going to try to take out those queens. Both queens do go down. Going in the drone kills. Only 3 drones. Hasn't really done any economic damage. Doing a great job at funneling the Lings in this one area. And TLO not getting any infestors out, even though he has the infestation pit. 99 supply to 135. It looks like he tried to do another drop up here at the same time. Didn't get any drone kills. TLO just watching that like a hawk with all of his lings. Command Center wants to take the third base, but TLO is not letting him one bit. And now the Marines are dropping to their doom, literally doing absolutely zero damage, and medevacs will be forced to back off. And TLO doesn't have control of the watchtower. BeWater has it right now. Medevac is going to land, let these Marines regain some HP, and then probably go up for another drop, but TLO is going to be putting a spine crawler up at that fourth base, and now a lot of lings are going to be coming in. Big drop is going down, and just going to be dropping on this high ground. And picking off a creep tumor, letting him know he is up there. And since he doesn't have any tanks, if he had tanks, he could put some tanks on that high ground and protect this third base from lings with the tanks on the high ground, make them invulnerable to lings. You only need like 2 or 3 tanks, but because the factory has been floating, he could not do that. Playing a really bold style of TVZ without any tanks, and now those Marines do get cleaned up. And medevac is forced to go on back, 138 to 171 supply. TLO, spreading even creep down here, does have these rocks taken out, and also was working on these. But the reason TLO focused on these rocks is so tanks could not siege up down here and do drops up here. So smart to take out these rocks with your idle lings. Tan player, though, is just going to be turtling up relatively hard. He is going to go up in that +3 attack, which is scary for the Zerg player. Few Mirages are coming out, and those Banelings will be taken out before they can even morph. And now they're just going to run, kill 1 or 2 Marines. Not a big deal there. But BeWater, he's going to have so many medevacs. Maybe that's why TLO didn't bother getting infestors, because his Marines, they're not going to die by fungal growth because he just has enough medevacs to keep them all healed up. Even putting a missile turret on this one high ground. And when you play without tanks, every tank you don't build is essentially one medevac that you can build. So that's why BeWater has just so many medevacs. TLO going to be getting a lot of spine crawlers with these Broodlords morphing, but he doesn't have any infestors. And nice split by BeWater right now with his Marines. Beautiful splitting by BeWater right now. Not going ahead in supply, but dealing so much damage. And at the same time, we do have a small drop right there, but there is a spine crawler there. And that may be enough. Those medevacs just healing those Marines up, making it so hard for those lings to take those Marines down. And the medevac is going to eventually... Well, no, they're not going to end up picking them up. And the Marines right now going to be taking out this gas. Taking out the gas does lower the number of Broodlords that can come out, but he cannot even do just that. TLO does respond quick enough. He is at 2-3 upgrades. Not working on his +3 attack. He is instead working on +1 missile. A little bit odd for getting missile attack. Maybe it is for those infested hands. The factory is going to be burning to the ground relatively soon. We do have ventral sacks on the way. And also the flyer attack. +3 weapons now just finishing for BeWater. The +1 armor, or +2 armor I should say, just started. BeWater is going to be coming in here trying to deny this 1/5 base. And those lings are going to come, but with all these medevacs, the lings are not going to be able to do any damage. But here come the Banelings! And a little bit late splitting by those Marines. The Banelings do clean that up. The Marauders left to fend for themselves against Broodlords, and that is just cool and unusual. 3 Marines going to try to take out these Overlords, but the Overlords do have that speed upgrade. They also have drop, so TLO can do something with that. BeWater is in a lot of trouble. 5 bases right now, 2-3 bases. And more Banelings are being morphed. We have plenty of Marines coming out of BeWater, but at this late game, no number of Marines is going to save you against Broodlords and Infestors. TLO even has these Queens here to transfuse his Broodlords if he needs to. And a handful of Marines do just get thrown away. BeWater going to be taking his 4th base as his main does get mined out. Going up into the workers, 71 SCVs, 297 drones. Big drop going down in this main. Does get cleaned up by Lings and Corruptors. TLO definitely on top of his game right now. A little bit of long distance mining while the command center did land. Going to be morphing into a PF. And this is the 2nd PF for BeWater. And whenever you build PFs and you're behind, you're just solidifying being behind. Because at this level, TLO's not going to sacrifice a lot of units into your PF. I really think this should be an orbital command. As bad as that sounds, he needs to do something to get back into this game and take some type of risk. And these drops apparently are not paying off. 3 spine callers there. Medevacs do get sniped. TLO just doing one of the hardest shutdowns I have seen in a long time. Gonna be getting spine callers up, some spore callers. These queens even transfusing the broodlords as they do damage. Banelings hitting off on a lot of Marines, and this game really just spiraled out of control once those Hellions did go down. Even the missile turret gonna fall. There's enough corruptors to just easily take control of those Vikings. Doesn't have any infestors out, but he doesn't need them. Getting queens to transfuse. Another transfuse going on the broodlord. Just look at that! Live! TLO keeping that broodlord alive. So many transfuses. But without any infestors, TLO could possibly be in a little bit of trouble. Now here come the Lings. Marine's going to be killing them very quickly. Viking going to do what it can, but there's so much anti-air by TLO, and now the Lings are going to be storming on in. And the Broodlords do come on marching. BeWater, 121 supply. TLO maxed out with 2K in the bank. And also, keep in mind, BeWater floating 2K gas. Could have built them tanks, but chose not to. TLO not taking another base, even though he is more than free to do whatever he wants. Lings are going to suicide into this PF, but that is really just freeing up supplies, so TLO can get more Broodlords out, because let's face it, the Broodlords just build their own Lings. More transfuses going down. I can't wait to go into SE2 gears and just look at all the transfuses on these Broodlords, proven to be very hard to kill. They have been one of the best tanks I have ever seen a Broodlord be. 3-3 Marines, who cares? We got transfuse and a lot of it. Nice splitting by BeWater on those Marines, but no splitting is going to be saving him. He is taking another base, but those Banelings just connecting on so many Marines. Now 100 supply to 183. TLO, though, just going to be getting more and more. And there goes the GGTT Real Zerg. And TLO's macro was just impeccable that game. But let's just go back to it really fast, where these Hellions do die. See, that's 3. He hasn't lost any yet. That'd be 6 minutes, I believe Hellions do come out. Actually, 1 already died. So, I have to go back to 4 and fast forward. But let's just talk about the Hellion for a second. What can 2 Hellions possibly do? When's the last time you've actually seen 2 Hellions kill off a lot of workers that don't have blue flame? It doesn't happen. 2 Hellions are not enough to kill a worker. So just sending them in like that, and I missed it again. They really don't stay in there long at all. But let's see what TLO ends up doing after this. After he kills these Hellions, he probably doesn't even have to build Lings. He may. Nice Myco on the drone and Queen, creating that wall. But you can see 2 Hellions get shots off, nothing dies. And now he is going to be retreating. TLO still building drones. And we'll see how long he does this. Maybe he stops because he does end up scouting this. But when he does scout that, he's already at a 10 drone advantage. Barracks does lift up, does get away. That is probably one of the cutest lift-ups I have ever seen on a barracks. It's the battle of the slow-moving air objects right now, as the barracks just barely outruns the Overlord. TLO did end up seeing that Marauder, so now he knows it's going to be Marauder Hellion. So he just gets a few more spines and probably goes back to droning, and he's happy at that. There's nothing these Hellions can do. The creep does extend down here. Forces a scan, which is never good. That doesn't need to be used. It's just really bad to go into a base when you have 2 Hellions. Can't stress that enough, but we will be going in SC2 gears to look at TLO's injecting and whatnot. So, let's see. Pop on over. And this was the only TVZ in the replay, so if it wasn't entertaining, sorry about that. Haven't done a TVZ from TLO in a while, and this was the only one I had to choose from. But I may be casting TLO versus Tasia, a few games between them. Maybe, possibly, hopefully, soon. So, going to the inject gap, 11.5, not that good. Generally, 7's the best. You can get down to 6, but 7 is what I call acceptable. For someone like TLO who says, if you ever have a creep tumor idle, you're bad, this is probably unacceptable for TLO. Those Hellions, the 2 Hellions did minor damage, delaying an inject, but not a big deal. Losing the Hellion was a lot more than putting a 5-second inject miss. But what I really want to see, let's go to the unit tiers real quick. See how his macro. So 30, pretty good. 20, not bad. So BeWater does have relatively decent macro. Doesn't have that many gaps at 15 seconds. Relatively good, so I can see why Bioplay works for him. Just because he has good macro. Or acceptable macro, I should say. But his decision making just wasn't good. Again, even if you play that pure bio, I wouldn't recommend floating your factory as a scout, because that just tells the Zerg, hey, don't have to worry about tanks. So, that is a little bit of a mistake, I would say. Ability groups, transfuse. Transfuse, where is it? Endgame. "27 transfuses, not bad. 54 more Stabur Lords going in this unit count, and then we will end it at here. And also, I do have a Twitter, twitter.com/IPPSC, IPSC. I will be tweeting my games as I do release them, so definitely check them out. 263 Lings versus 278 Marines. Yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoy the game. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Well, actually, later today I'll see you. I'll upload more games, because this one, good game by TLO. BeWater did not put up the best of fights, so there will be more games